I don't stream for a day and stuff happens. Tucker Carlson got fired. I prefer to think of this as like Daniil Dankovsky's final like blast, like Biden blast his as my final act. Tucker Carlson got fired. Like fired. The largest political pundit in the country. We know he was fired. Well, now because it's been confirmed, but initially as well because we were given no indication. He didn't say, I'm going to be leaving. He didn't say, this is my last show. He said, I think his last aired broadcast was him saying, like, up next night, we're talking about liberals wanting you to eat bugs. And he gave you that confused baby boy face, and then it was done, and then he was fired. And initially, I didn't know what to make of this. Tucker Carlson is unimaginably influential. You guys have no idea, There were a bunch of conservative pundits online who were freaking out about his leaving, and to be honest with you, I understand where they're coming from. Don Lemon got fired the same day, but nobody cares. So there were some conservatives who were like, well, tit for tat, you lost Don Lemon. Who's Don Lemon? I don't care. Bro, you lost Tucker Carlson. You lost the Tuckster. The Tuck got cucked. That's not... We'll take our lemons, man. We'll make lemonade. You lost Tucker. And at first, I didn't know what to make of this. Seriously, really think about this. Why would they do it? Really, why would they do it? Tucker Carlson has always been a loyal billionaire bootlicker. He's admitted as such. He'll do whatever Murdoch tells him. This is not... He's not some wily independent. He's a soldier. He follows his orders. Why would he be fired? I thought at first, by the way, that some crazy shit was about to leak on him. Really bad. The only thing that I could think of that would lead to Tucker Carlson being fired preemptively, anything bad enough for that, it would have to be like a video of him raping a kid. That something that bad, certainly not him saying the N-word. It would have to be some insane shit. But nothing is leaked. I don't think anything's going to leak now. There were people who were saying that it was the Dominion lawsuit, but I don't think that's the case either. The Dominion lawsuit, what they settled for about $750 million. Tucker is worth more than $750 million. He's an irreplaceable asset. I don't know, some precondition where they get rid of him, you $750 million and also you fire him. That's ridiculous. They would never go for that. They would drag it out for years before accepting that. So it's not that. It turns out it was a bunch of weird petty bullshit. Not kidding, actually. It turns out that it might have just been a collection of stuff that just kind of built up and is being handled really messily behind the scenes. I don't have a central theory. Here are a couple. Here's a few ideas. All right. Because everyone's writing on this, Wall Street Journal reports that the ad boycotts on Tucker Carlson's show, which have been going on for years now, were in fact a significant concern for Fox News. So do remember that while there are a lot of people in the GOP today who are fascists first and businessmen second, Rupert Murdoch is not one of them. My man is a money baron first and an everything else second. If Rupert Murdoch could make billions off of promoting liberal ideology, then that would have been the road he went down. So money does matter here. And this is one of the reasons why more and more far-right people have been attacking Fox News lately. Because unlike, Newsmax or OAN or a lot of other more far-right networks, they seem to be more consciously business-oriented. But here, turns out Fox executives have been grinning and bearing it for years. While Mr. Carlson's Tucker Carlson Tonight was popular, it was also repellent to blue-chip advertisers. Top-tier marketers tend to steer clear of content they deem too controversial, and the show was sometimes the target of advertiser boycotts. As advertisers have fled primetime, some have shifted to airing commercials on Fox at other times. Mr. Carlson's show has filled the void mostly with ads from direct response advertisers and My Pillow Incorporated. The pillow manufacturer's commercial star, CEO Mike Lindell, who has also appeared as a guest on Tucker Carlson Tonight, was one of the most prominent We know this guy. Direct response advertisers typically are smaller businesses whose ads encourage people to take actions, such as calling a toll-free number. Right. Well, it's good for the boomers, I guess. The lack of advertiser demand meant the commercials in many cases weren't being sold at a premium or at a rate commensurate with its audience size, which meant it wasn't providing a huge financial windfall to the network, people familiar with the network's operations said. As of late, Mr. Carlson's rating popularity on the network Oh, I didn't know this. Were surpassed by the afternoon panel show, The Five. I didn't know that. That's interesting. He's still the top pundit, but I didn't realize that his ratings had been surpassed by any other Fox program. I didn't know that. Bet you The Five doesn't have anywhere near as many advertiser boycotts. Yeah, here's the thing, okay? If you're an ideologue, if the main thing that you care about is getting out fascist ideology, losing money on Tucker Carlson doesn't matter. He's so influential. It doesn't matter if you lose money on him. You make it back in other concerns. You make it back broadly in the culture war. But if your goal is to make money, Tucker Carlson is I mean, I think it was 5 nights a week, right? I mean, that's a pretty significant portion of your very high profile news network, running Mike Lindell My Pillow ads. That'll cost you a lot of money. And if I remember correctly, Mike Lindell's being sued as well. So I don't know how he's going to keep paying for those My Pillow ads. So even that might dry up. And you'd be watching Tucker Carlson. It would do like immediate cutaways to the Home Shopping Network, where you'd have like some guy in a blue background holding up a bunch of disgusting jewelry, saying that you can call in and have it for like $75 or something. Just not a good situation financially. And what's more, Tucker Carlson's popularity doesn't necessarily translate into better ratings for other Fox News programs. Or to put it another way, the kind of people who watch The Five, which, for those of you who haven't seen, this is what The Five looks. I've never talked about them on stream, I don't think. So, for those of you who don't know, this is what The Five looks like. Stare, stare, stare. The kinds of people who watch this, are they going to stop watching Fox News if Tucker Carlson is fired? Maybe some of them. But I'd be willing to bet that the Five's viewer base is less hardcore dedicated ideologue fascists and more boomers who need to get up to pee, but if they tried to, their knees would explode and they would collapse onto the carpet. I don't know how much transmittability of audience there is there, which means that, this might be a sound financial decision, but it's not just finances. Look, Tucker Carlson's vulgar, offensive messages about colleagues helped seal his fate at Fox News. Primetime host called senior executive the C word. Imagine, I would never. In redacted missive, network grew wary of further embarrassment from possible disclosure. Oh, right, it's a Wall Street Journal article. I totally forgot. Mr. Carlson, Fox News' most watched primetime host, wasn't impressed. He told his colleagues he wanted the world to know what he had said about the executive in a private message, the people said. Mr. Carlson said comments he made about former President Donald Trump, "I hate him passionately," that were in the court documents were said during a momentary spasm of anger. Something, 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 something. The article probably continues to say that he was a dick to his coworkers and not considered especially stable. I do know that apparently the lower level workers at Fox News breathed a sigh of relief when he left. I saw this. This was in a separate article that I don't have up right now because I'm stupid and bad at my job. But, that he was cruel and mean and demanding of like regular orderlies and interns, the people who actually do the work at Fox News, that he was not a good boss, basically. So I don't think they can get people fired, of course, but I do think that his disposition might have been sort of ubiquitous in that respect. He's a weird guy, man. I remember my weirdest memory of him was that time that he was, I think it was at CPAC. I was watching this, and this would have been about 2 years ago, maybe. And he seemed to have like an emotional breakdown when he was behind the podium. He was speaking to the audience, and he started talking about living in a cabin in the woods and being a father. And it sounded less jokey and more like him having some kind of crisis of identity or like an existential meltdown on the stage. I can't see, do you remember what I'm talking about here? It was genuinely weird, especially for somebody who's had so much media training. You expect a very high level of discipline when it comes to speaking decorum. It's not just him being quirky or eccentric, because he represents Fox News and he's also watched by tens of millions of people. He doesn't get to be occasionally weird and quirky in a way that makes him look unstable. That's something I get to do, okay? He doesn't get to do that, all right? He's not a live streamer. He's not a YouTuber. That was very strange. So if that speaks to some kind of broader instability in his character, that might be the case. And this is maybe my favorite, like, theory of all, because it's the most personal and it's the most confusing as to why Tucker might have been fired. Tucker Carlson's prayer talk may have led to Fox News' ouster. That stuff freaks Rupert out, Rupert Murdoch. Fox Corp chair Rupert Murdoch is said to have balked at Carlson's remarks at a Friday night speech, driving another theory about the primetime star's abrupt exit. He doesn't like all the spiritual talk, said a source. So I'm going to summarize the article before getting to it, okay? Rupert Murdoch's ex-wife is apparently a Jesus freak and likes Tucker because Tucker talks like a Jesus freak. And apparently this makes Rupert Murdoch uncomfortable. It's actually that personal, okay? 24 hours after Fox News ousted its highest-rated host, the network has yet to explain one of the most shocking defenestrations in cable news history. I'm not going beyond the release, a Fox News spokeswoman texted yesterday when I asked her for comment. In this information void, multiple theories about why Fox fired Carlson circulated in the media. It was fallout from the Dominion settlement, punishment for vulgar text messages published in the Dominion court filings. I haven't seen those. I don't know what those are. Or a consequence of former Fox producer Abby Grossberg's lawsuit, which alleged Carlson oversaw a hostile work environment. But none of these potential reasons fully add up. The mystery remains. A new theory has emerged. According to the source, Fox Corp chair Rupert Murdoch removed Carlson over remarks Carlson made during a speech at the Heritage Foundation's 50th anniversary gala on Friday night. Carlson laced his speech with religious overtones that even Murdoch found too extreme. The source, who was briefed on Murdoch's decision-making, said, "Can you pause?" Said Carlson told the Heritage audience that national politics have become a Manichaean battle between good and evil. Carlson said the people advocating for transgender rights and DEI programs want to destroy America and they could not be persuaded with facts. We should say that and stop engaging in these totally fraudulent debates. I've tried. That doesn't work, he said. The answer, Carlson suggested, was prayer. I have concluded it might be worth taking just 10 minutes out of your busy schedule to say a prayer for the future, and I hope you will, he said. That stuff freaks Rupert out. He doesn't like all the spiritual talk, the source said. Carlson declined to comment. A spokesperson for Fox Corp declined to comment. If this source is reputable, this is so funny on so many different levels. First of all, Tucker Carlson is lying here. He says whatever he needs to. He's not a religious man. He doesn't care. This is just rhetoric for the Heritage Foundation. He doesn't give a shit. And for two, the idea of Rupert Murdoch being so uncommitted to conservative principles that something as light as pray the gay away would cause him to fire Tucker Carlson out of discomfort is so funny. It's been reported that Fox's CEO, Lachlan Murdoch, that's the son of Rupert Murdoch, and Fox News CEO Suzanne Scott made the decision to fire Carlson on Friday night. They informed Carlson of the decision on Monday morning. Murdoch was perhaps unnerved by Carlson's messianism. Messianism? Is it messianism or messianism? I think it's messianism, because it echoed the end times worldview of Murdoch's ex-fiancée, Anne Leslie Smith, the source said. In my May cover story, I reported Murdoch and Smith called off their 2-week engagement because Smith had told people that Carlson was a messenger from God. That's right, Rupert Murdoch called off an engagement because his fiancée thought that Tucker Carlson was a messenger from God. Murdoch had seen Carlson and Smith discuss religion firsthand. In late March, Carlson had dinner at Murdoch's Bel Air Vineyard with Murdoch and Smith, according to the source. During dinner, Smith pulled out a Bible and started reading passages from the book of Exodus. During dinner? Not even after dinner? Rupert just sat there and stared. Dude, I have never related to Rupert Murdoch so much in my life. Man, imagine grifting conservative values and becoming ultra wealthy and you're like 8 billion years old and you're just trying to enjoy a dinner at your gigantic Bel Air estate and your fiance pulls out the book of Exodus and starts reading right there. What are you doing? Eat the caviar. What do you... Eat the flesh of the children we harvested, okay? What are you doing? A few days after dinner, Murdoch and Smith called off the wedding. By taking Carlson off the air, Murdoch was also taking away his ex's favorite show. The 92-year-old mogul's broken engagement is part of a string of erratic decisions he has made of late that raises questions about Murdoch's leadership of his media empire. According to sources, executives at Fox are worried about Murdoch's unsteady hand at the wheel of the company. It's like the king is senile, but nobody wants to say anything. According to two sources, Fox settled with Dominions moments before the trial was set to begin because Fox's lawyers didn't want Murdoch to testify in public. They were hoping and praying because he was so old, he probably would have admitted they knew they were lying. That's it, isn't it? Murdoch knew they were lying. He's 92. He might have gone up there on the stand and they would have asked him, "Did you knowingly lie about the Dominion voting machines?" And he would have said yes. He would have told the truth. That's why they settled. They were hoping and praying to settle for months, but they didn't want to pay up, a second source said. Once the trial began, the lawyers told Fox execs that Murdoch would be disgraced on the stand, run out of the boardroom, and his testimony will expose him as a lunatic sliding into senility. The person close to Murdoch disputed this. Rupert was very well prepared to testify. Okay, so we have contradictory sources from Murdoch simps and other people. All right, gotcha. Listen, we might not know for a while. We might never know, actually, why Tucker Carlson got fired. But I choose to believe that it was because an aging, demented, senile Rupert Murdoch got uncomfortable with the Jesus freak ramblings of his ex-fiancée and took Tucker off the air because he reminded him of her, and because it would have spited his ex. That is what I choose to believe. Nobody can convince me otherwise until more info comes out, I guess. There are rumors abound. The sudden and explanation-free firing of an ultra-powerful and popular political pundit is a huge deal, and I'm happy that Danil used the last of his life force to strike, to fire neurons directly into Rupert Murdoch's brains, thus changing his brain cells enough to make him decide to have Tucker Carlson fired. Thank you, Danil. Wait, don't end the segment. I forgot to say. Also, people are wondering where on earth he's going to go next. I mean, people have talked about like Alex Jones. People have talked about the Daily Wire. The God's honest truth is, and I know this is like a pretty weak thing to add on at the end, I don't know. There are a lot of conflicting forces here. There is no institution capable of giving Tucker Carlson a platform of the size of the one that he already had. He can only trade down. I don't think he could get along with Alex Jones. I don't think that his style of delivery works on InfoWars. I don't think that Alex Jones would like having to share the spotlight with somebody like Tucker. Tucker is, after all, of higher prominence than Alex Jones. So Alex Jones would basically have to cede his platform. I don't think that would work very well. As for the Daily Wire, I mean, he might start doing like some YouTube short form stuff, Tucker. Like he might like the way Jordan Peterson did for a bit before he completely lost his mind. He might like nominally join the Daily Wire, but I don't think it could. I don't think it would reflect even like a tenth of the prominence that he's had on Fox. And as for like independent stuff, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know where he's going to go next. I think that considering the fact that he basically had an existential meltdown a couple of years ago where he talked about living out in the woods, maybe he'll just do that. Maybe we'll actually get like the good ending here and he'll just go live in the woods, you know? I don't think he will, but maybe he will, and that would be pretty funny, you know? And if he wants to do that, then I honestly wish him the best of luck. That's pretty much the best outcome for both involved, probably. Wait, don't end the segment! I forgot to add. Editors, cut the silence, but keep in me bolting back into life. Okay? There's more funny stuff here. They didn't leave Tucker Carlson with no promises, at least. Fox has a secret Oppo file to keep Tucker Carlson in check, sources say. 8 sources tell Rolling Stone the network's top brass has been stockpiling info on the departing primetime host. Yep. So that's something. We might not actually ever hear Tucker, like, complain about Fox News because of this. They've got videotapes of all the children he on Epstein's Island, you know? 8 sources. Jesus. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty smart thing to do in any case if you have, like, ultra super powerful figures that you need to keep tabs on, but it's just so funny. 8 people familiar with the situation tell Rolling Stone that Fox News and its communications department, long led by the notoriously aggressive Irina Briganti, has assembled damaging information about Carlson. One source with knowledge calls it an Oppo file. Two sources add that Fox is prepared to disclose some of its contents if execs suspect that Carlson is coming after the network. The file includes internal complaints regarding workplace conduct, disparaging comments about management and colleagues, allegation the now former primetime host created a toxic work environment, three of the sources say. He's currently facing a lawsuit from former senior booking provider on that subject, alleging a toxic and misogynistic workplace environment. At Fox? No way. The lawsuit details repeated instances of misogynist behavior at the network, including frequent lewd and sexual discussion of female guests and public figures. No way. That's crazy. Grossberg continued to endure a work environment that subjugates women based on vile sexist stereotypes, typecasts religious minorities, and belittles their traditions, and demonstrates little to no regard for those suffering from mental illness. Fox denied the allegations when the lawsuit was filed, saying the claims were without merit. Nice. And then they go on to talk about how they also don't know how he was fired, or why he was fired, sorry.